Hi, everybody. So, I just wanted to take a quick moment to just talk to you about just some things that I was thinking about as it relates to my son and things to better accommodate his needs. I was just thinking about a couple of medical medical devices that I feel like would be ideal for him, and trying to find that I guess that happy medium for him. I noticed that with my son Malykhi that it's been a lot of trial and error. So one thing that I think has been an ongoing struggle is trying to find um, certain clothing and certain medical equipment that will make life a little bit more comfortable for him in his home, his school environment, and in other social settings. Um, so I did mention in one of my previous videos that Malykhi has an obsession with coats. So when I say that, he literally has two or three coats he'll layer up in, and he'll also carry around two or three more additional coats. Now, granted, you would think that would be a simple fix and try to get rid of some of the coats and throw them away. Now, if it was that straightforward, I would be grateful for that. But what's happened as a result of trying to do this in the past is that he has a really bad meltdown, and it seems like it just pretty much makes his whole day just come undone. Um, it's just like, for example, if you were putting together a 500-piece puzzle and two very important pieces of that puzzle come up missing and you're not able to complete the actual masterpiece. That's kind of how unraveled he becomes when things are kind of out of sequence or and outside of his routine. So I recently invested in a weighted vest, which was 20 pounds, because it has to be 5 to 10% of his body weight. He's a pretty solid kid. He's 6'2" and he's almost 300 pounds. Now, with getting him that vest, he only wanted to wear it for a brief period of time. He got to a point where he just wanted to take it off. So I feel like he was uncomfortable wearing the weight of the vest. Um, but I did end up buying him some compression shirts. I don't know how familiar anybody is with the Under Armour shirts that people used to work out in. So I ended up purchasing him several of those because they fit really tight to the body and the material. The compression itself might be something that would be more of a comfort to him. I went also doing a little research on a couple other websites online and was able to find compression shirts with logos on it, even like Spider-Man and just superhero logos um, just to see how he does in the shirt. He seemed like he has a favorite. He tends to favor the Under Armour shirts, so I've been seeing him wearing those off and on around the house. So I think I made some pretty good wins with that. Um, he plays with his tablet on a regular basis, and I mean, if you look at a lot of people who are like on the severe autism spectrum, especially kiddos, they like to play with their tablets because it's like a form of entertainment where they can do like hyper focusing and kind of tune a lot of things out. So you sometimes you'll see that. He also has this thing where he likes to wear a winter hat. He'll put a scarf like around his ears, and he'll wear like a winter hat around his head. It's like he's trying to muffle up the sounds he can process his environment a little bit better. Um, so I try to try to look into conventional things that kind of mimic what he's trying to achieve and make, to be just as comfortable as what he's doing. So like the muffs, the sound canceling ear muffs that he can put on his ears. So I was thinking about purchasing that for him to see if that would be a nice little alternative, so it's not so bulky. Because a lot of my concern lies in the fact that the summer's coming, and those behaviors with the excessive layers and the hat and the scarf, he'll try to carry those over into the warmer months, which can put him at risk for like a heat stroke. And I'm, terribly concerned about that, because sometimes when we want to go out as a family, I'd like for him to have less layers. Another item I thought that would be good for him is something that has just recently made waves, called a cubby bed. So just to set a little context, Malykhi he's gone through 2 full-size beds where he's broken the frames. He just pretty much breaks the beds down. He's very rough on those beds. And I think that if I made an investment with the cubby bed, which can be covered through his insurance, it could possibly help with, essentially, because it regulates temperature, sound, and overall the reviews are very, very nice for this piece of this bed. So it's just one of those things. It's not the easiest thing to get covered for insurance. It has to really, really be a strong need for it. Malykhi, I feel like he would do well like overnight, because he has been waking up in the early parts of the morning, and he's kind of like restless in the middle of the night. Even with taking his medication, sometimes he kind of wakes right out of it, and I see that he struggles with staying asleep and getting up early in the morning, mainly because he wants to adhere to that routine with get on the bus and going to school. Because, like I said, like when you look at that puzzle with those 2 major pieces being gone, or 1 major piece being gone, it just unravels his whole day, and he goes the whole day just ruminating over the part that got out of sequence. So you can only imagine how tormenting that is, and that's the OCD part of being on the spectrum. It's in his case. So it's just, I know I've always, it kind of goes back to the last video I shared with you all with staying 2 steps ahead. It was just one of those things that I felt like I wanted to bring up to you all, because I find that, as being a parent, I have a hard time trying to accommodate his needs. I also have to kind of remind myself that Malykhi is neurodivergent, and a neurotypical brain would think, oh, why don't we just do this, or why don't we just do that? And we obviously know it's not that straightforward, because you have to take a lot of other things into consideration given his circumstances. So I'm just gonna do a little bit more brainstorming about some things. I'm always doing research, trying to find things that make life easier, a little bit more, less stressful, a little less stressful for Malykhi. So I'm just gonna work on that, and if I find any other useful items or any websites that I would like to share with you that might shed some light on some things that you all might be concerned about as well, then I will be sharing that with you soon. I tried to make a video with Malykhi on Sunday so I could introduce him to you briefly, but he just wasn't really in the mood to be in the camera. So but when he's really comfortable and I'm really able to get him to be able to be on the camera and not be as reserved and guarded, then we can maybe perhaps do that at a later time. So same with my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, Cadence. She is not a big fan of being on the camera either. So if anything, I'll have pictures of them with us together. But as far as like formally being introduced, that'll come with time. So I just like to share some of the things that I experienced with you all, with my kiddos, and in hopes to give you some information that might be helpful to you, or maybe just be able to share it with you that you're not alone in your journey. So you have a good evening, and you take care, and God bless.